So the 23rd meeting of Special Representatives of India, or SRs, of India and China respectively, as we just mentioned, was held in Beijing on 18th of December 2024. Now let's take a look at the key operative areas. The SRs met in accordance with the decision taken during the recent meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping in Kazan. The SRs reiterated the importance of maintaining a political perspective of the overall bilateral relationship while seeking a fair, reasonable and acceptable mutually framework for settlement of the boundary question and resolve to inject more vitality into this process. Remember, this was the first meeting of the SR since fictions had emerged in the western sector of the India-China border areas way back in 2020. The SRs positively affirmed the implementation of the latest disengagement agreement of October 2024, resulting in patrolling and grazing in relevant areas. Also, both SRs underlined the importance of maintaining peace and tranquility in the border areas to promote overall development of the India-China bilateral relationship. They emphasized the need to ensure peaceful conditions on the ground so that issues on the border do not hold back the normal development of the bilateral relations. Drawing on the learnings from the events of 2020, they discussed various measures to maintain the peace and tranquility on the border and advance effective border management. They also decided to use coordinates and guide the relevant diplomatic and military mechanisms towards this purpose. The SRs exchanged also views on bilateral, regional and global issues of mutual interest. They also provided positive directions for cross-border cooperation and exchanges, including resumption of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, data sharing on trans-border rivers and border areas. They agreed on the salience of stable, predictable and amicable India-China relations for regional global stability and peace. NSA called on Vice President of the People's Republic of China, Han Zheng. NSA also invited Wang Yi to visit India at a mutually convenient day to hold the next round of Special Representatives meeting. Let's quickly go across to DD India's correspondent Amrit Pal to join us. He joins us more on the outcome, Amrit. He joins us from the newsroom. Outcome overall, what do we make of this detailed, the statement that has come, and especially the SR level of meeting coming after a long hiatus of 5 years? What more are you picking up?
Shakil, if you cut out the diplomaties out of the readouts put out on both sides, I think three main things have been achieved. One, resumption of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, which had stopped after tensions escalated. Second, they agreed on data sharing on rivers. That's very important because every time Brahmaputra water is released or water is withheld, it either leads to a drought or a flood in Brahmaputra or in plains of Assam, even leading to Bihar. So that data sharing was stopped. Now that's going to have a very significant impact. So I think that is a big achievement out of these talks that took place today. Third, the resumption of the border trade through the Nathula Pass, which is in our Tibet. That trade had also stopped. Now that's a significant trade that happens through the land border, because otherwise you will have to ship it all the way from Southeast Asia and go touch either Kolkata or Chennai or Visakhapatnam. So that adds to the cost. So for Indian businessmen and even for the Chinese, the things exported for India, that means a lot. Now, I think these are very important agreements that have been achieved. Also, the dynamics of the talks. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to hold it. It was held in a very positive manner. And they said that, if I can read from the readout.
Sure.
They said that the SRs positively affirmed the implementation of the latest disengagement agreement of 2024, resulting in patrolling and grazing in relevant areas. Also, they say that they will directly monitor the military and the diplomatic mechanisms for a peaceful resolution, and they want to discussed measures to maintain peace and tranquility on the border and avoidance of advance effective border management. This is not just legalese or diplomaties. this is important when they reaffirm, when at the political level, peace and tranquility is mentioned, and they put their political weight behind, because both armies are sitting in an eyeball-to-eyeball situation. So basically, they've said that we will try and resolve the issue, the standoff, through the WMMCC, but we will monitor that and we commit to it that our forces will not get into a military conflict. Because it's very easy when you can see the enemy a few meters away, the tensions can escalate on the border. And but when it comes from the top political leadership of both countries, they put their political weight behind and say, well, we affirm and commit that sort of a situation wouldn't happen. So I think it's clearly there is a thaw, there is breaking of the ice and a forward movement on that. And that's why what transpired today in the SR level talks was very, very significant. And remember, these talks, as you said, happened after 4 long years, after when things escalated and flared up in 2020, when the soldiers of the Bihar regiment were butchered. Yes. So after that, this is the first time your SRs have decided to sit across the table and says, enough is enough, let's resolve it peacefully.
All right, yes. Thank you very much, Amrit, for clearly explaining the optics of it and the outcome and what it really does to the relationship, the bilateral ties between India and China, which otherwise many experts would, describe as frosty, but now they have clearly eased out. Thank you, Amrit Pal, for joining us from Newsroom. Thanks.